I think. Aren't we?
I got a sign. I'm like, I got a sign. That's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, we asked the engineers to please make it so that we could identify Ron on screen, and that's what they did.
I have my own Chiron. Nice.
And it's a little echoey in here.
Got a little construction going on, do you?
Well, this is the temporary space they stuck us in, and it looks,
It's like a broom closet.
I don't think it's that big. And it's a little echoey in here. Well, hey, that's
like a
neat.
broom
We can hear
closet.
ourselves. I don't think
Yes.
it's that big. And it's a little echoey in here. Nice. Well, hey, that's
like a
neat. We
broom
can hear
closet.
ourselves. I don't think
Yes.
it's that big.
Now they'll just
And
keep
it's a little
saying that.
echoey in here. Nice. It's a broom closet. Hey, that's
like a
neat. We
broom
can hear
closet.
ourselves. I don't think
Yes.
it's that big.
Oh my god! It just kept getting worse.
Yes, it did.
All right, here we go.
The signs are all there. I really like hockey, but then I found out there's so many hockey teams that are American. The Boston Bruins, the Rangers.
Live on Mojo 50, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Mojo 50. The question isn't
Who's going to let us?
the question is who's going to stop us? Adjust your mojo now. Thank you.
Where's my bell? The hell is the bell?
The mothership has landed.
As it
Brad Staggs. The mighty Mojo 50.
You know, when they say they're going to upgrade your space, and they say, you know, it'll only take a couple of days. We'll just put you over here to temporary space until we.
It's the transition that'll kill you. Ooh,
Damn it! Where's the bell? I can't find the bell. We are
Where
in.
the hell is the bell?
I have no bell. I have. I asked him. I said, make sure that you put everything on one side because I tend to hang to the left. But where's the bell? Where in the hell is the bell? Everything is over. I want to go to the left, and everything's over on the right.
I had to put my mask on because it was a little dusty in here.
And then I said, all right, Mr. Engineer person, make sure that we can put a label on Ron so people know who he is.
Yep.
And so what did they do? They stuck a piece of paper to the monitor, and there it's. I guess I should have been more specific, spoken with more specificity. And
Chiron. If you people could see what I see right now, with the Brad's filters on his face,
they can't see. That was the other thing. Make sure that all the software is fully functional. Apparently, they tested it, and they tested the lips and the eyebrows. Apparently, all of the software is functional.
Hey, look at me.
Hi. Wait a minute, where are you? I don't even know where you are at this point.
Yeah, I'm down there, but that's not working. So
If you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you go to the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed. Are we still on YouTube?
yeah, we're on the other YouTube on the back.
Okay. All right. How long have we been banished from?
Oh, I don't know.
All right. So I have no idea.
I guess I need to try it and see if we can get back
All
in.
right. So but it's a cacophony of technological idiocy this morning here on the Daily Mojo. But we'll get past it. I guess this is the bright side of it is that no matter how bad it gets, we are still more competent than the federal government.
Yeah, or at least we think we are.
Well, I'm fair. I would bet money on that one. I would. How was your weekend?
It was good. I finished Squid Game.
And you weren't all that impressed.
I was not. Yeah, I wasn't.
Why?
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. It was a good show, and it took me back to the days of watching the kung fu movies with the overdubbed English voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know. It usually drives me crazy, but you get used to it
You do.
after a while. But you wouldn't. I mean, no spoilers here, but you just the ending didn't do anything for you.
No, but I suspected, and the reason
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, the reason
I
I
had no clue.
suspected was because it was the only one not shown. Let me.
Right. Yeah, I did notice that.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I know
Okay.
exactly
Okay.
because he walked in and out of frame and
Yeah,
boom
yep,
and yes.
yep.
I know exactly what you mean. For those of you who have not yet watched Squid Game, it is strangely addictive and according to the review that Ron sent me, which is what did I say they were? The Bohemians, the Gremlins,
Hyperion.
the
A
Hyperions.
Hyperion.
Yes, this is the Hyperion review on YouTube. He says that it is so popular because everybody can see themselves in the game, and it's about the ruling elites and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So the Hyperions. They sound like an interesting bunch. I'm not sure. They sound like they'd be a lot of fun at parties.
Yeah, that, by the way, has nothing to do with the TV show.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It has,
or with the show.
absolutely nothing to do with that. However, this is if you haven't seen the conspiracy theory, it's not even really a conspiracy theory. This was Project Runway in early 2019. And just listen to this audio. It's somebody recorded it off their TV. It's out there, but this is the audio from Project Runway 2019.
COVID's look. Did you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed
Turn it up.
COVID's detail, this 3D applique.
All right, you notice them.
COVID's look. Did you mind putting your mask back on?
All right, so you hear him talking about COVID and putting your mask back on. So, yeah, what's the big deal? First of all, this is early 2019, and secondly, it's not COVID the disease.
Oh,
The contestant's name was COVID Kapoor, and he designed an outfit that included a mask, a face mask. That was
seriously?
yes, that was color coordinated to his outfit. It is.
I was wondering why I didn't hear somebody bitching about having to put a mask on.
Right. No, this was a mask that this guy, COVID Kapoor, he spells it Kovid, Kapoor, Kapoor. And it's from Project Runway. It's an outfit with a mask designed by the contestant. It is real. Some viewers have alleged that it is evidence of predictive programming. So that they're saying there was knowledge of COVID prior to there being knowledge of COVID. Well, that was in April, I think. We knew something was going on as early as what, November? I'm pretty sure because Handicap Jeff
yeah.
and I were sitting here. You were in on the conversation. We were watching the Chinese World Fair or something like that, and then there were just strange things happening there. So I don't know if this is predictive programming or not, but it's one hell of a coinky-dink, isn't it? I mean, is this
Odd.
It has
yes.
to be. I mean, it has to be. It can be. I guess it can be something more than a coinky-dink, but yes. And who was it on the Twitters said, "How are we not supposed to be conspiracy theorists after we see something like this? That's real." And I agree.
Yeah.
When you see stuff like this, like, well, that's just a coincidence. You know, if you give 1,000 monkeys, 1,000 typewriters and give them 1,000 years, one of them will type out the complete works of Shakespeare.
I doubt that. I doubt it.
That's the infinite monkey theory.
Yeah.
But would they? Who knows? I mean, it's a theory, but I mean, we get COVID Kapoor and a face mask built into an outfit. And it's color coordinated. It'd make Nancy Pelosi proud.
So we do have an announcement, by the way. CNN and several others are now breaking news. Colin Powell, military leader and first black U.S. Secretary of State, dies after complications from COVID-19.
Interesting. That's too bad, first of all.
General Colin Powell.
How old was he?
84.
84. Well, the complications from COVID. Interestingly enough, right below that on the CNN's front page,
Yeah.
why Colin Powell said he no longer considers himself a Republican.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know if it is from COVID-19 or with it, or It's a shame that every time one of these someone dies like this, that's the first thing that a lot of people think of, including me, especially when it's on CNN. But that also goes to something that Joe Biden said.
Yeah.
Joe Biden was at the University of Connecticut, and he was speaking to I guess, all the students and the faculty, and he was discussing how wonderful the governor of Connecticut is. Excuse me, Connecticut. They're going to put the C in there. I'm going to pronounce it. So here is Joe Biden at the University of Connecticut over the weekend.
We were on our way to the debate one other time, but the whole way up, we just laughed and told stories before we were debating one another.
Sorry, that's it. That's his story about Chris Dodd. We'll get to that one in a second. Chris Dodd is, when you hear the comment from about Chris Dodd, you'll that'd be the intro music to the President of the United States, otherwise known as hashtag FJB. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Joe Biden. I am Jill Biden's husband.
He's used that
I'm
joke
delighted
before,
to be here. Thank you.
and no one laughs.
Thank you. It is truly, it's not hyperbole to suggest. It's a great honor to be here.
You know, why does he, do you notice he does that every time? Not kidding. Not kidding. Not a joke.
Kidding. Yeah.
Seriously.
Apparently, people don't take him seriously anyway.
I wonder why. He's the clown of the country.
A genuine honor.
Genuine honor.
And at this great public university, celebrating the life and legacy of not one, but two proud sons of Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Senator Thomas Dodd and my good friend, and we truly are really good, close friends.
Truly.
Senator Chris Dodd.
Yeah, we're great friends.
Chris and I have known each other for a long time. But if you'll excuse the point of personal privilege, as we used to say in the Senate, I saw up close how he fought for human rights and human dignity in the Senate.
All right. We'll get to the governor. His speech is so full of nuggets. It's hard to pick which one. So Chris Dodd, of course, you remember the story of Chris Dodd and Ted Kennedy at the restaurant, right? Remember
no.
the waitress sandwich? Sandwich?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is the president just extolling the virtues of Chris Dodd.
Saw up close how he fought for human rights and human dignity in the Senate. Do you know my measure, Madam Ambassador, Ambassador Kennedy? You know what my measure is?
Oh, boy.
People who tell me they care about people and then disrespect a waitress or a waiter.
When he said that, were his handlers not, I mean, talk
Cringing.
about face palms.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what the story is. It's how do you even do that? How do you step that deeply into it right out of the gate? It's bizarre. It was from the story is back from GQ in February of 1990. So 30 years ago, when Joe Biden was still in the Senate. According to the 1990 profile of Ted Kennedy in GQ, a drunken Christopher Dodd allegedly joined the late Massachusetts senator in sexually assaulting Carla Gaviglio. She was a waitress at the now-shuttered La Brasserie, a restaurant on Capitol Hill. As Gaviglio entered the room, the 6'2", 225-pound Kennedy grabbed the 5'3", 103-pound waitress, throws her on the table. She lands on her back, shattering crystal plates and cutlery, lit candles, several glasses, crystal candlestick are all broken. Kennedy then picks her up from the table and throws her onto Christopher Dodd, who is sprawled in a chair. With Gaviglio on his lap, Kennedy jumps on top, begins rubbing his genital area against hers, supporting the weight of himself on the arms of the chair. GQ said Gaviglio, I hope I'm saying her name right, ran from the room bruised, shaken, and angry over what she considered a sexual assault. You think?
What else could it have been?
Right. Well, it's just
oh, sorry, that was an accident.
Oops. Damn it, I hate it when the floors are that slippery.
Yep.
So again, 30 years ago, when it wasn't so bad. I mean, we didn't take her clothes off and grind up against her. The owner of the restaurant corroborated her account at the time, as did another waitress and 2 busboys. This is the same guy that is talking about, again, the respect that Christopher Dodd had for humanity.
The measure is people who tell me they care about people and then disrespect a waitress or a waiter.
Wait, this is Saturday Night Live, right? How in the hell does he manage to do that almost every time he opens it? This is why they don't let him out much anymore. Because I'll bet what they did was say, oh, geez, don't mention the restaurant, don't mention the waitress thing. Because when you're trying to break a bad habit, you don't say, I will not smoke, because
then you're reinforcing it.
It doesn't understand the won't, it just hears, I will smoke. And so if you tell Joe Biden, don't talk about the sexual assault on the waitress, all he'll be thinking about. Which is apparently exactly what he did. So he's up there, hey, we're such great friends. And then he tells the story of going to the airport with I think it was Chris Dodd. Here's the story of the airport.
Do you know my measure, Madam Ambassador, Ambassador Kennedy?
We'll hear that
again.
My measure
is
I'm blaming it on the engineers.
People who tell me they care about people and then disrespect a waitress or a waiter. People who tell me they care about how, in fact, people are entitled to be treated with dignity and walk by someone at a shoe sign stand and suddenly say hello.
At a what? A shoe sign stand?
Oh, a shoe shine stand.
Shoe shine.
Don't say hello. I got you.
Okay.
2 proud sons of Connecticut, Senator Thomas Dodd and my good friend, and we truly are, Madam Ambassador, Ambassador Kennedy. You know what my measure is? Shoe sign stand and suddenly say hello. People who do not do the just simply decent things for ordinary people.
Except for the unvaccinated. They're unclean. But I digress.
That's the real measure.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Chris, figuratively or speaking, walk by anybody. I've never seen him, nor his wife, nor his 2 brilliant, beautiful daughters.
Are they hot?
They smell good.
His daughters do?
They smell great, actually.
Do they?
That's what he said.
Okay.
I remember
asking for a friend.
The passion and eloquence that you brought to the floor, Chris, whether you were fighting for American families or serving as the Senate leading voice on engagement with Latin America and the Caribbean. And your brother, the ambassador, did a pretty damn good job as well. I think that the work this center is doing to bring...
blah, 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 blah. He goes on to tell the story about how he caught a ride with the good senator, and they had to call a junior senator at the time. I don't know why, but they had to call the junior senator to get the airport opened because it was closed. They were on a Cessna and blah, blah, blah. And he says, we didn't... and the punchline of that story was the fact that it was the junior senator was Barack Obama.
Yep.
The clean, articulate black guy. And so then he says, we didn't need, neither one of us had very much money in our campaigns. We were running for president, and it was 2007. And I look up his 2007 campaign funds, and he had like $14 million. It's how could you be running low on campaign funds? $14 million. The guy can't tell the truth to save his life. And he was, I mentioned the governor, that he was just extolling the virtues of the governor of Connecticut. And that would be Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont, the same governor who If you remember back in, was this early? Yeah, it was early 2020. He tweeted out that, we had our first infant death linked to COVID, which wasn't true. It was that whole, it's linked to. No evidence. It's just, and Candace Owens called him out on it. So he's extolling, again, the virtues of a governor who lies, of a senator who was, part of a waitress sandwich with Ted Kennedy. And then he goes on to talk about the days when he was, just a youthful senator and had his 2 kids. And he tells a story again about his wife in the car crash, which is, of course, horrible. But then the next thing you hear is just incredible. We'll get to that here in a second. But first, American Pride Roasters, the sponsor of this portion of the program. And we asked as well for a place that, we could showcase our sponsors, and we don't have that either. So
It's not working out well yet.
It's not working out well. I'm
We'll
waiting
get
just
there.
for something to pop up. And where's the bell?
Yeah.
Where's the son of a... So go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and find what could be your new favorite flavor of coffee. Something you and do this sooner rather than later, because shipping rates are going up. That's because the service will be getting exponentially better with the shipping rates, not from American Pride Roasters, from the Postal Service. But no, the service from American Pride Roasters is already fabulous. I'm not sure you can get any better. So American Pride Roasters, the proud-ish sponsor of this part of the Daily Mojo. Let me see if any of this stuff over here works. Does it?
Mojo.
I'll be damned. It did. Checking on the... Whoa. I clicked on a button. It was me. Checking on the tweets coming in from around the universe.
From around the world.
News of the world. DMXDM. Old man Biden speaks with all the energy of a rotting corpse. Hey, really, it depends on what day you catch him, or whether or not he's just had his meds. Because you get either the Joe Biden who's angry and nasty, or you get the thank you folks for being here, and he mumbles. Oblivion flickering. I've never seen Chris Dodd walk by a waitress without humping her, but he always leaves him a decent tip. Hold on, that button didn't work. Why didn't that button work? All right. You're kidding. Anybody who's listening is getting exactly what they pay for.
Yes, they are.
Just so you know. Let's be frank and P. I wasn't aware that Ted Kennedy had named his genitals Dignity. That's so far over there. Bob blah blah.
Love the blah, blah, blah.
Mentioning Chris Dodd and waitresses or sandwiches in the same sentence is like mentioning Ted Kennedy and swimming or Chappaquiddick. It's true. And Enigma, hashtag what I learned today, Biden's handlers, whatever you do, don't mention Dodd and the waitress in the same sentence. Biden, got it. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
It's just amazing how he is able to do that. I'm gonna, and we'll get to the next thing that he said here in just a second. I was looking over this prior to the show beginning, and if we actually had a light in this space, I'd be able to read what it says. But I don't. These are some of the things in Biden's infrastructure bill. The whole Build Back Better thing, and these are things. Again, these are going to be the things that we are building back better and making a better tomorrow for Americans. Because the government is really good at doing that. The spending bill will include welfare benefits without work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents at a time when there are 10.1 million job openings, more openings than there are people looking for work. It will have, this is a great one too. This is why they're not telling any of these things. It will commission a climate police. There is an $8 billion expenditure in the bill to commission a cabal of federally funded climate police. They will be called the Civilian Climate Corps, CCC. See, there already is a CCC out in California. It's the California Conservation Corps. And they, back in the 70s, they, did nice things with plant trees and stuff. So they'll name something new after, something that's been established. Oh, the CCC, love them. They will conduct progressive activism on the taxpayers' dime. It will push the Green New Deal in the public schools. It will require funding for school construction be used largely on enrollment diversity and Green New Deal agenda items. It will force faith-based child care providers out. The bill blocks the ability of many faith-based providers from participating in the child care system and will lead to many of their closures. And there is another one in here on daycare. It will require daycare operators to have a college degree. What they're trying to do is they want no one except them educating your youngins, the children, at a young age. Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy.
Happily promoting the
Clear.
It every day, 265 miles a day to be back and forth. I know that a lot of people are in desperate need of a facility like this and childcare. I didn't fully appreciate it. A lot of people.
Everything is ass backwards in here. I'm having to cross my arms
Yep.
over.
Yeah.
You think you've left detailed instructions. No one listens anymore. No one listens. How do my lips look?
They're fine right now. The filter's not on them.
Oh, too bad. You look good.
Thank you. I look small.
Where's the bell? Let's see what their Coalition of Christian Colleges. So we cut police funding to fund climate cops. Yep. Thought it was the back of a U-Haul. It does kind of look like we're sitting in the back of a U-Haul.
What is on the wall there behind you?
Over
your left shoulder.
You mean the white splotches?
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm afraid to go look.
You don't know what the splotches are?
I don't know. It looks nasty, doesn't it?
Well, it looks
Sarah,
like
and thank you.
Unpainted spackle.
Jeez. Wow. Is that what the kids are calling it now? Hey, have some unpainted speckle. And Sarah, thank you. Alan says the Ghetto Studio is fantastic.
Thank you. The Ghetto Studio.
I like Ron's title card.
Yeah.
Classy.
Let's see.
Ron's looking a bit shorter today.
What filter can I mess with today?
The Daily Mojo.
The Ghetto Studio is fantastic. Alan says over in the Facebook chat room. And Sarah is over there busily putting links into the chat for the sponsorships. And thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, so if you are joining us over there, appreciate it. Or if you're, I know there's a Zoom room. And Ron, do you have a link tree?
I do, actually.
And so how do people find your link tree?
Linktree.com/real Ron Phillips.
Are you sure it's linktree.com?
It's link. Yeah, well,
No, don't they split it up into
it's
some weird-
linkter.ee.
Why
No, but you can do linktree.com. That
Can you?
works. Yeah.
All right. So, and you can do as well for me, which probably you'll find better stuff on mine.
Probably.
I have better
because
stuff.
I haven't filled mine out yet. I put a couple of things up there, but that's about it.
So Linktree, it's Real Brad Staggs, and I found if you just Google it, you'll find it, and that's where you'll find the links to the hashtag FJB shirt over on Mojo and everything else. That's one thing I didn't do. And Sarah, you just gave me a great idea. I should put the links to when I say the interns.
Yeah.
should be putting the links over there in the link tree for our sponsors. All right, so I mean, how much is it? At what point are we finally going to get fed up with all of this stuff that it actually leads to some sort of an uprising?
Again, this goes back to coordination.
Right.
Look, and I'm going to tell you, who was it that I mentioned coordination this morning? Who was it that's striking?
Oh, yes. Who was that? It was
I can't remember.
John Deere.
Oh yeah, John Deere. Those people, obviously, I mean, because it's thousands of people striking against John Deere this morning.
Right.
Is it because of the mandates?
I don't know.
But even the Southwest pilots or the pilots union, right? Mm-hmm. And then I read this weekend that
you're talking about the weather-related delays at Southwest.
Yeah. And I think it's United or somebody that has asked the court for them to block the American Pilots Union from suing them.
It's
because of this. It's
the whole thing is insane. It's I know of an individual, try to get him on the program. He went to get the shot. He went to go get the jab, and before you get the jab, you have to sign it's a waiver. It's basically a release of liability. And if you don't sign this thing, and they don't even tell you, I mean, he said he had to drag it out of him what was in there, and essentially if you don't sign it, and if they don't tell you what the stuff in there, he says they won't give you the shot. So you can go and get the jab, but you've got to sign the waiver prior to them actually injecting you, which is the waiver that says, look, if anything bad happens, I'm not going to hold you responsible. Yeah, right. It's like, wait a minute, what? Why the hell would I sign that? I mean, that doesn't make any damn sense at all. I mean, you're going to, if this thing is so damn safe and effective, then why won't you stand behind it? There's just so many things that, again, don't make sense. And again, we're not anti-vax. It's you got questions? There don't seem to be a whole lot of answers out there. So anyway, if you're deciding to get the vaccine, and we support your decision completely, let us know if you signed the waiver or if you read the waiver. So from what I understand, it is not pretty. All right, so this was the president at another school. Let's see, he may still have been at the promoting his child care. Investing. So he looks like he's in a kindergarten classroom or child care classroom, and he is, giving the speech about, hey, how great is Build Back Better? It's so great. We got child care in there, and you're just going to love this stuff. And listen to me be relatable. Here's the president of these United States.
Are in desperate need of a facility like this and child care.
Whoa.
I didn't fully appreciate it as a young member of the county council when I was 27 years old. But when I got elected to the United States Senate, and I was 29, I wasn't old enough to be sworn in yet. Between the time I got elected and the time I actually ultimately went to the Congress, I turned the eligible age of 30. But also in the meantime, there was an automobile accident. My wife was Christmas shopping, and my daughter was killed. My wife was killed. And my two young boys, Bo and Hunter, were very badly injured.
The part that really sucks about this is at this point, and it's horrible, obviously, what happened to them, but it's been drug out and beaten over and over and over to the point where you're like, okay, move on with it. Has anybody not heard this story?
Well, but it elicits an emotional response, and that's why he even uses it.
Does it anymore? I mean, he's overused it. Eventually, it just doesn't, it doesn't work anymore.
Hospitalized for a long time. And so I thought, well, I'll get some help. And I was making a decent salary as a U.S. Senator.
Decent salary.
$42,000 a year. That was a decent salary. And I could not afford the child care.
I could not afford child care.
Bullshit.
42,000. It was a decent salary. I would say, $42,000 sounds like a decent salary, doesn't it? To you, Ron?
Especially back then.
Do you know what $42,000 adjusted for inflation today is?
What?
$275,622.49.
Are you kidding me right now?
So,
what?
Or
Wow.
on the low end of the estimate, it would be $250,000.
Oh yeah, then he was able to afford.
Right. I can totally relate to your.
It was probably $25 a week.
Right. He was making the median salary back then. I want to say it was 26,000, somewhere in that ballpark. $42,000 as a senator, the equivalent of, and this according to the Washington Free Beacon, the equivalent of 256,000. So take your pick, 256, 275, whatever. This according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics inflation calculator. So again, do they just think people are stupid? With his speechwriter or him, does he get up there and say, you know what I need to do? Don't even bother writing it. I'm just going to tell a story about me being in Congress and not being able to afford child care. Because people will believe it because, people believe me. He, at that time, let's say if you take $42,000, it would be, it would put him in the bottom half of U.S. household in today's dollars. So $42,000. If you made $42,000 today, it's not bad, but you're not, going on vacations 3 times a year.
Correct.
It's pretty tough to get by. And he talks about how he commuted. I'm pretty sure it was in the snow, uphill, both ways.
Everybody wonders why I commuted every day 265 miles a day
Oh,
to be back and forth.
that's a long damn way.
He may have, but that sounds like
Bullshit.
to me.
265 miles is what? About 3 hours each direction? 2.5?
Each direct, no, if 60 miles, 240 would be 26. Yeah, sure. 120 miles each way, that'd be a couple hours, 2-3, depending on traffic. And then I would think back then,
Yeah.
I don't believe him.
Fourth of my children. I could afford the train, it was cheaper to be able to take every day so I could kiss my boys. It wasn't Ozzie and Harriet, but we'd have breakfast in the morning. And when they got a little older, get them off to school. And I'd get in the train and come home in time to, if I got home in time to have dinner, it was seldom I'd get home in time to have my...
Huh? Let's get told some time. The odd thing about all of this, let me read you he's again extolling the virtues of the working class family and how he can certainly relate. Read you a piece of a little newspaper article here from a few years ago. Too many Americans, especially members of my generation, go out of their way to avoid individual responsibility for themselves and for their families. That is a shame. But a recent act of Congress puts the federal government in the position, through the tax codes, of subsidizing the deterioration of the family. That is tragic. I found myself virtually alone in the Senate recently when I tried twice to pass an amendment that would have that would have made the upper income families ineligible to claim tax credits for daycare expenses. The Senate increased the maximum credits to $480 if only one child is involved, and $950 if a family sends more than one child to a daycare center while one or both parents work. To show you how ridiculously this benefit can be used, I need only say that in 1978, there were 25 families with adjusted gross incomes of $1 million or more who claimed daycare credits, which were also claimed by more than 6,000 families with incomes of $100,000 or more. I consider it legitimate and necessary for the government to encourage single parents on limited incomes to get off welfare and into the job market, or to help families of modest means to adequately provide the material necessities of child rearing. That was an op-ed penned by one Joseph R. Biden in the Delaware, in the Senate from Delaware, 1981. Again, yeah, he's been in there a long time. Now, that's pretty much the polar opposite of what he, thinks today. It's like, give it all to him. Give it all to him. When you have somebody like this, I mean, that's a core value, isn't it? I mean, that's not just an opinion thing. How do you justify going from that viewpoint to, what he's pitching out there today, aside from the fact that he's just a politician? And is he pandering with everything he says?
Probably.
Which is the problem of 47-year.
That's all he knows, Brad.
Right.
Yeah.
See which way the wind blows and then agree with whatever. And as I was saying that, I'm thinking, well, look at my stance now on the death penalty, which I've always been pro-death penalty, and now I'm like, not so sure. I mean, when you have cut and dried, and then there's the problem. What defines cut and dried cases? Like the Golden State Killer, Ted Bundy. I mean, in retrospect, we know that they did it, but then that goes.
Well, the problem is the very first time that we had someone put to death, and then it was discovered they weren't the killer, or they weren't the one that.
Which has happened.
Oh, of course it's happened.
So,
but that's the only argument against the death penalty that I can see, is that it's not, it's infallible, or it's not.
It's very fallible.
It's very fallible, yeah.
And it's run by people that I don't necessarily trust any longer.
True. Yeah.
That's the biggest problem I have, is that not only is it heinous and beyond reprehensible and immoral and all of those things if one person is killed who was innocent, because that could be somebody, it could be you, it could be a family member, and I don't trust anybody to do the right thing in the government anymore. Again, sad, but so I can justify that, change in my opinion about, I do believe that criminals should be harshly punished. But like with Sarah Anderson, the justice reform, I think there needs to be a lot of justice reform. And I'm just going through these mental exercises, trying to decide is Joe Biden being a hypocrite? Could he really have changed his viewpoint from 1981 to 2021, 40 years? I don't know. Being on the government dole is being on the government dole. How do you go from that one extreme to the other in that case? What could have changed?
I don't know. I look back at 40 years ago, and I was making different decisions than I would now.
Right.
It's a maturity thing, of course, but then there's, the problem is when the press, the media decide that they're going to go back 40 years and bring up something that this guy said and assume that he hasn't changed his ways or his mind, or
right.
But
by the same token, it's ridiculous that we're even looking at something that he did as a member
40
of,
years ago.
right,
Yeah.
in the same damn job, essentially. Still a quote unquote public servant. I hate that term.
Yep.
But given his other less than truthful stories, I tend to buy into he's just pandering, because that seems to be the nature of him. So I think his words ring rather hollow. So it's and he who was it that tweeted this? Meredith Kelly said those are his words. He should explain to America, how does a mom working lead to the deterioration of the family? Because that's what he said. Congress puts the federal government in the position through the tax codes of subsidizing the deterioration of the family. Again, this guy just, I think, whichever way the wind blows, that's what he decides he's going to do.
Yeah.
And that's the part that it's again, I don't believe anything the damn government does anymore. Before we get to this, did I send you the campus reform thing? The quotas?
Yeah. That's the one you told me 47 seconds in.
Yes, I did, didn't I? There was something fascinating at 47 seconds. But before we get to that, I believe it's time. See, I don't have any of my normal cues and no one here pointing at me saying it's time. So I'm going to suggest that it's time that we speak fondly and lovingly of Romika Designs.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for doing that. As a matter of fact, I've been already text messaged this morning.
And that's our nice, our reminiscence about Romika Designs. Now
Thank
on
you.
to the rest of
Yep, she texted me and said, can you please mention the 2 Halloween tier tray sets again that are on special, please? They are on our Facebook page, Romika Designs Facebook page. We have these, they're called a tier tray set, so that's multiple pieces that go on tier trays. So maybe people out there understand what a tier tray set is. I didn't know that before. But they are on special right now, and Misty asked me to talk about those. So please go to Romika Designs Facebook page and see those.
What is a tier tray?
So a tier tray is it's like a graduated tray set. The bigger one on the bottom, medium, and then small at the top. And you just set these on the tier tray in your house. It's like interior decorating. I mean, that's what they're for.
They're interior decorating. Where? I can't find them.
Tier tray sets. Let me go over there.
So they're on the Romika Designs Facebook page, and from there as well. You know, you should have that on your link tree, because then we could just send people to the link tree, and it would automatically find them that way. It'd be so much easier. So, so they're on special.
That's what. Yeah, they are on special. Well, let's see if I can find them.
All right. Well, you're.
They're yeah. So it says we have 3 limited edition Halloween items on sale this week. Only one of each is available and are ready to ship. And I think the Hey Boo we sold, but the other pictures there are the Halloween tier tray sets.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Definitely on sale. Got some good dollar amounts off. So if you're interested in those, let us know. It's the last sets that we've got available.
Right on. Get your set before they're gone.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The Daily Mojo.
Oh, man. Thelma Lou. Thelma Lou died.
Who's that?
Andy Griffith's show. She was Barney Fife's girlfriend. Thelma Lou.
Oh, I do remember that.
Betty Lynn was the actress. She died Saturday. She had a good long life. She was 95 years old.
Yeah. Thelma Lou.
Thelma Lou. She's no longer with us. Nor is it, if you missed this earlier in the program, it was just announced that Colin Powell has also passed away. He was 84?
85.
84, 85. All right. And they say complications from
COVID. Yes, yeah.
Which, unfortunately, every time someone says that now, I question it. But that's just me. So, yeah, Betty Lynn, who was Thelma Lou on the Andy Griffith Show, is no longer with us as well. Here it is right here. This is the college. This is, again, this is what our university system is breeding. These are the young minds. I'm telling you, every time I see this, it scares the hell out of me. And this is Ophelia Jacobson going out there and asking if universities if we should have quotas for universities, for minorities and stuff. Are quotas a good thing? And then she throws a little curveball at them, which is pretty damn funny. Here is Ophelia Jacobson right now.
Diversity just in general. Do you think diversity should be a factor in hiring decisions and in college admissions processes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably they should have diversity quotas for college admissions and a bunch of other things. I think they already have quotas though, but those are.
It's a good thing he's cute. That's all I can say.
Wow, dude.
Well, hey, I'm confident in my heterosexual.
Okay.
Let's just move.
Definitely a good thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's an absolute necessity.
Yeah, everyone should have an equal part in anywhere, really.
As a first-generation college student from a Hispanic household, it's very important.
Should we develop diversity quotas for, the workplace or for college admissions? How they usually work is if a population is 35% Hispanic, then the school in that region, I guess, would also have to be 35% Hispanic in its student population to reflect the demographics of the larger community. Is that something that you would support?
Yeah, I would support that.
Yeah, I totally support that.
Yeah. I mean that sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah, same. I think it definitely should be taken into account.
Absolutely, there should be more diversity in basically every single field.
So what about diversity?
Here's where it gets interesting. What about the football team? Should the football team be more diverse? Should we use quota systems for football in, let's say, University of Florida?
Quotas on sports teams, college sports teams. Do you guys think?
No, I think that should be skill-based.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing.
Same thing. We want to win no matter what you are.
Probably not. I feel like it should be based off talent. That's something that's a little bit different.
With sports, it's definitely more emphasis placed on ability. Sports is different than college. Sports is not the same. I mean, talent is talent is talent is talent.
I don't think we should. College sports is about getting the best players for your team, and I don't think we should focus on which race or ethnicity to get.
I think a diversity quota for any sports team, it doesn't make much sense. It should be based on skill.
Just let the skills shine, and whoever's the best player deserves to be on the team.
Obviously, with sports, it's talent first over anything.
How do you even, when you approach the conversation with him and say, but...
I wonder, do these kids not realize when they're being interviewed that this is...
I don't know. Because they're all just, hey, no, it's totally different, man.
Yeah.
Sports should be totally skill-based, not work. You got to have quotas. It's like, right.
We did some research about the demographics here at UF. We're going to put this into a hypothetical situation. So 50% of students here are white. This is from 2019. 19% are Hispanic, 8% are Asian, and 5% are African American. If we were to apply that quota to the offensive lineup for the Florida Gators football team, this is what the lineup would look like.
By the way, she's got, and this is brilliant. The little graphic pops up. The offensive squad would be white, Latino, Asian, black. And that would be the whole offense.
Okay, and that's probably not what it looks like at all.
This is what it looks like right now.
And what it looks like is white, black. Where are the Asians? Have you ever seen, Samoans are Asian, right? Yeah. Samoans, man, they can get out there and they knock you on your ass. They're big. Was that overgeneralizing?
Probably.
Was that a cliche?
Probably.
But they are. Not offensive if it's true.
Yeah. I feel like they're probably just more skilled players. 'Cause I guess you could say more skilled people should get into schools too. I guess what I said could kind of be applied both.
We'd probably be losing because we recruit based on skill, and if we recruited based on diversity, then we'd probably be worse.
I see nothing wrong with the current roster right now. I think it's perfectly fine. If they're the best players fit for the job, then they deserve the spot.
I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing that these people are just better at the sports that they play.
Whoa, did she just say these people?
Mm-hmm.
She can't say that. You know what would be a real kick is to show these kids a clip from the NBA in 1976. You ever watch that? It's like white men on parade. It's totally it's a bunch of white guys out there, and then and it's
I wasn't into that.
Into white guys?
No, I wasn't into basketball at the time.
I hate basketball.
Yeah, I do.
Can't stand basketball. Oh, don't get me started.
It'd definitely be different. When's the last time you saw a prominent Asian in football?
Thank you. except for Samoans. They're Asian, right? Because they'll put you on your ass. They're big.
Yeah.
They are. Don't you? I mean, I'm right? Right.
Does this kind of change your mind?
Don't put me in a bad spot. I don't
About diversity quotas in other sectors like the workplace, like college admissions? If we're talking about being the best in sports, shouldn't we also be talking about being the best in the workplace, being the best company, being the best college, the best university, regardless of anyone's race?
Yeah, I think it was a good way to open your eyes and think, like, if you're recruiting athletes based on their skill level, maybe you should admit students based on their scores and their, like, academic merit more so than diversity.
Yeah, a little bit, because I didn't think about it being applied. I mean, I guess they are applied to schools, but not sports.
Hallelujah. There is some hope. If these kids were able to see it and look past their own biases, then maybe there is hope for this world of ours.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
Maybe. Because and as long as they can apply that to the general overreach, that's the problem. These are all conditions that we can thank government for putting us in. All of these quotas and the regulations and all of this crap that we are dealing with. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, has emerged from his paternity leave.
Paternity leave, yeah.
Boy, are his nipples sore.
That's tacky, dude.
Why?
It is.
They could be.
They could be, but
he's a runner.
What's that got to do with it?
Have you ever run in one of those shirts? They make your nipples bleed.
Oh, that's we put pasties on.
You wear pasties?
I've had to wear them before.
Actually, it was Tucker Carlson got in trouble for suggesting that Pete Buttigieg was trying to breastfeed.
Oh.
See?
Yeah.
Wasn't me. But he's back, and he has actually some good news for the economy. Sort of. I mean, it's kind of his fault. We'll do that next.
Clear.
Have you seen the rare
Buttigieg,
the rare breed trigger? They you thought a bump stock was badass? Florida company Rare Breed Trigger. They make a drop-in trigger that makes an AR-15 cycle through faster. This is what an AR-15 sounds like with a this trigger installed.
Oh shit!
Pretty cool. It's a FRT 15 trigger. So guess what's happening to them?
They're getting freaking canceled out.
They have lost their first court battle with the BATF.
Wow.
It has to halt all sales of the FRT 15 trigger while it waits for trial. Mm-hmm.
Officials say fire crews made significant progress against a wildfire that's been burning for nearly a week in Southern California coastal mountains. More than 1,600 firefighters
I may have been napping.
in the mountains west of Santa Barbara were able to stop its forward growth. Federal officials said that blaze was 78% contained as of yesterday. Dow futures pointing lower this morning, down 108 points. More details at townhall.com.
Tell me what? Supply chain disruptions, shortages, panic buying. Unfortunately, they've all become facts of life in 2021. The good news is you have...
By the way, Colin Powell was fully vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, we haven't heard the last of it.
Yeah, we have. They'll drop it like a hot rock.
I guess.
Decreases the reset.
Can you imagine the commercial for it though? Moses is wearing it. What are you?
Defenders Live, weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, Mojo 50.
You know what happens at the end of the new James Bond film?
No.
I don't know.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you.
This is his last one, right?
Maybe.
No, I'm pretty sure it's his last one.
Is it?
It may not be the last James Bond.
You don't know.
Told us that the FDA approved a COVID vaccine. However, the one that is approved is not available in the United States yet.
All right.
Over a month ago, the president announced that he had instructed OSHA to mandate companies with over 100 employees to require the vaccine. There still isn't an approved vaccine available or an OSHA regulation, but companies all over the country are required.
Really?
Experimental jab
All right, see, that one...
The Constitution is very clear that only Congress can pass laws, but Congress has unconstitutionally delegated that power to 50 different regulatory agencies. Now, those agencies are taking orders from the president, placing our republic inches from becoming a dictatorship. Listen to the Liberty Lighthouse Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Mojo 50 Radio. And until tomorrow, protect your liberties. Once they're gone, there's no getting them back.
If we weren't so bad,
To puppy rape. What God? Do I want to keep my penis?
Cat wants some black titties. We wouldn't be so good. Mojo 50. The mothership has landed.
You see what Peter Seraphin was talking about there in the Liberty Minute? That one with the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine that's been approved, but it's not the one that's available here in the United States? This is all,
Yeah, that's
everything's murky.
It's the Comirnaty, and as I understand it, it's the same formulation. It's just a different branding. And the problem is that because it's the same formulation as the Pfizer BioNTech,
right?
They needed to get rid of all of the Pfizer BioNTech that's out there before they put the branding Comirnaty out. So there are a lot of people talking about the fact that the FDA approved a version of the vaccine,
right,
that you can't even get yet. And that, yes and no. If the research that I've done is true, yes and no.
Again, this does nothing for the legitimacy of the government or any of the agencies. I mean, their reputation is already besmirched, and they can't. I mean, they're not. What are they doing right?
I don't know.
Everything that they're doing is leading to questions. This is why people are confused and concerned because, well, it's not. I mean, I kind of understand what you just said, but at the same time, it's like, well, wait, it's this. They're worried about branding, but branding's important because, and tell me the FDA or one of those agencies wouldn't be all over you like white on rice if you had something on a box or a label or something like that that was not what it said it was or was the wrong brand or whatever. They'd make you destroy it all and, reprint everything, and you'd end up going broke. But since it's these folks, it's like, just run out the stock of what you got. We'll worry about it later. And the whole thing is it's irritating as hell. Robin P. over on the Twitter says, TGR rear braid trigger decreases the reset on a semi-automatic rifle. The owner and designer is a lawyer. So that pretty impressive when you hear what it does to that AR, that trigger.
So is that a what you played a while ago? Is that a pull of the trigger each time you hear that?
No, let me see. Hang on.
All right, I'm going to do this pretty quick because it's starting to rain and it's lightning quite a bit.
That didn't sound like each one was a pull of the trigger.
No, it's in it. So it's
It
again kind of
sounded
like
automatic.
like a bump stock.
Yeah.
It cycles through and this guy. This is on the Chase Outdoors on YouTube. This is just, and you can find a bunch of them if you just look up the FRT-15 trigger. You'll see a bunch of videos and you'll see exactly what this trigger does. If it just cycles through faster, then. But again, if they got bump stocks, and I'm telling you, that's what pissed me off when Trump did that, when he did the banning of bump stocks, because he did it as an executive order.
Yeah.
But then ATF came back and they made it a law, right? I mean, because the company that sold them was here in Texas, and they went out of business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this company can. This guy may be a great lawyer, but I have a sneaky feeling he can kiss this one goodbye, because they're going to find a way to regulate him right out of business. It's rare breed triggers. They lost their first court battle with the BATF. The company now must halt all sales of the FRT-15 trigger while it waits for trial. On July 26th, the ATF sent a letter to Rare Breed stating the FRT-15 trigger has been classified as a machine gun under the National Firearms Act, and the company must cease all
There you
sales
go.
or
There you
face
go.
fines and jail time.
Yeah.
In early August, Lawrence DeMonico, the president of Rare Breed, sued the ATF after the agency said the drop-in trigger converted the semi-automatic weapon into a machine gun capable of firing more than one bullet per trigger pull. He said the ATF's claim is preposterous, as the trigger must entirely cycle before the next round is fired. DeMonico and his lawyer filed a request for a preliminary injunction as part of its lawsuit, preventing the ATF from inhibiting the company from selling its triggers ahead of trial. However, the request was denied on Tuesday, citing a lack of evidence that the ATF's action would financially cripple the company. You can buy one of these for $380. It's currently listed as out of stock, though. So you own one, you now own an expensive trigger. Wow. Court documents show the company must stop making new triggers. There's a possibility that triggers in existence might be seized.
Really?
Huh.
How's that going to happen? I'm just curious.
This is how it starts. Responding to new court development is Baltimore-based The Machine Gun Nest, who said that this is one case every gun owner needs to pay attention to, because it could mean the ATF will continue to infringe on gun owners' rights through the executive fiat, saying that a trigger manufacturer cannot sell the one product they produce does no harm is a failure on some level there on the judge's part. The fact that Rare Breed wasn't issued a preliminary injunction is ridiculous. Gun owners should pay attention, as Rare Breed trigger and other similar forced reset triggers will be a convenient scapegoat for the government to continue to push forward on infringing citizens' Second Amendment rights. This is also another example of the ATF arbitrarily redefining their definition of what a machine gun is, which was first done with a bump stock in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't even know this thing existed. Did you?
Well, no, because it honestly, you just playing the audio of it, it sounds like a machine gun. An automatic weapon is what it sounds like, because the only people I know who can pull a trigger that fast are paintballers. Paintballers with those freaking trigger.
That's true. Good point. Those paintballers.
Paintballers are fast, man.
Yes, they are. You ever played paintball?
Yeah.
It's pretty
it
fun.
hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does hurt. Which is kind of weird, because you can go out there and play it, but it hurts.
Yep.
You could get injured, but it's still legal, unlike lawn darts.
I want to get out there on an airsoft course. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
That's the little round pellets, airsoft guns is what they call them. But
shoot stuff with it.
Yeah, these guys have full-on wars with those things.
Put your eye out. Pete Buttigieg was over on Jake Tapper's show on CNN. Tapper asking him the all-important question.
Disruption in the U.S. right now causing everything from higher prices to longer waits for products. Moody's warns that these supply chain disruptions, quote, will get worse before they get better, unquote. Do Americans need to prepare ourselves for this to get worse before it gets better?
Well, certainly a lot of the challenges that we've been experiencing this year will continue into next year, but there are both short-term and long-term steps that we can take to do something about it.
Okay.
Look, part of what's happening isn't just the supply side, it's the demand side. Demand is off the charts. Retail sales are through the roof. And if you think about those images of ships, for example, waiting at anchor on the West Coast, every one of those ships is full of record amounts of goods that Americans are buying because demand is up, because income is up, because the president has successfully guided this economy out of the teeth of a terrifying recession.
Right. Demand is up, especially over last year, because last year, let's see, who was it that shut the world down? Oh, yeah, the government. So the government shuts everything down, puts everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And now they try to take credit for, we fixed it. No, you didn't. You didn't fix it.
Now the issue is, even though our ports are handling more than they ever have, record amounts of goods coming through, our supply chains can't keep up. And of course, our supply chains, that's a complicated system that is mostly in private hands, and rightly so. Our role is to be an honest broker, bring together all of the different players there, secure commitments, and get solutions that are going to make it easier.
Is that really the job? And why would that be the government's job? I guess interstate commerce.
Yeah.
But the whole, and he's right, the whole supply chain system is phenorked. But
it is currently correct,
and it has been for a while, especially with trucking. If you
Yeah.
look back in the history of truck, the overregulation and all of that because of the government. Everything the government touches, it has the fecal touch, even more so than I do when it comes to announcing guests. But the government is really good at screwing everything up. And so we have the trucking industry who deals with all of these regulations. They were facing a driver shortage before any of this happened, too. You go all the way back to like 2018, and a lot of it had to do with regulations and the inability to kind of move up the food chain in trucking. The drivers were saying that they wanted more money. They weren't making a whole hell of a lot. The average, I want to say the average is somewhere between 40 and 50 grand, which is not all that much money, especially just for driving all the time. And let's see if where's that article here. Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. This goes back to, is it 2017? Over the Washington Post, 2018. Massive shortage of truck drivers. Increased driver pay 15% this year to try to attract more drivers. Again, 2018. Many of the drivers now earn 80 grand, he says. Yet you still can't find enough people for the job. About 51,000 more drivers are needed. Again, this is 3 years ago. To meet the demand from companies like Amazon and Walmart. They're shipping goods across the country. Trucking companies are so desperate for drivers, they're offering signing bonuses and pay raises. And they talked to a lot of truckers, and it was about the regulations keeping them from, driving X number of hours a day. Yeah. The signing bonuses that weren't really all that great. You had to have, some sort of a degree in something. And then the annual pay is less than 50 grand. Government statistics say median pay for the industry is about 42 grand. Would you drive a truck for $42,000?
Probably not. Hell, I might not drive a truck for 80 grand. That's
a lot.
Just. Then again, I enjoy being on the road.
Yeah, but pulling one of those big trailers.
Well, and it's not just the driving that you have to contend with, right? You're dealing with other drivers. You're dealing with, not necessarily the loading and unloading of the trailer.
Yeah, you got people for that.
Yeah, but all that comes with driving a vehicle on the road 24/7. I mean, it's just
what my mom used to say, driving is easy. A monkey could do it. It's dealing with all the other idiots out there.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And if you watch any of the videos on YouTube of the trucking fails.
Oh, and you can't even be hesitant on the road driving one of those in a large city.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
God, dog.
No, I'd need a major prescription for Xanax for that one. I have a friend who's a truck driver in...
My dad-in-law was a truck driver for years.
Did you like it?
My mother-in-law drove with him. She drove the truck. She had a commercial license, yeah.
And that's smart because the two of them can, they can spend quality
Switch off,
time.
that's right, yeah.
And they're together 24/7. It's wonderful.
No, that didn't work out well at all.
Huh, it's so weird. Can't imagine that. I mean, you get to be together all the time, right there in that little
work
cab.
out well at all, actually.
It's very strange. A friend of mine is a truck driver. He's based in Nashville, and it's funny because he's a Harley rider, and his name's Harley. And he's telling stories of being on the road, and there's some place he delivers that he has to like back the whole rig up like a mile down a tunnel.
Really?
I'm like, oh Lord.
I'd just take it slow, dude. Yeah.
I have trouble backing the damn trailer into the driveway, and it's only 12 feet long. So there's a lot of, again, we have all of these problems with our supply chain, and a lot of them, if you look, hey, it's the government. Again, that's the biggest issue I see with all of this stuff is the problems that we are facing. A majority of them, I would say, stem from the idiocy of the idiots in government, and yet they're out there saying, hey, all we need is more money and we can fix all this stuff. Well, I don't think so, because you haven't shown your ability to fix anything yet. The transportation related, the storage containers that we're talking about, Dave G making his shop out of those. They are so scarce right now. Toy makers, and this is over at CNN Business, so take it for what it's worth. Toy makers are focused on small, squishy toys for the holidays because they can't get the shipping container for some reason. End of the year holiday shopping rush. How many days until Christmas?
I don't know, 70 something, I think.
Sure. You can't book shipping containers. There's a shortage of them. This guy normally is shipping Tonka trucks, Care Bears, and something called Qtitos. The hell are Qtitos?
68 days.
All right. Well, you were close.
Yeah.
So in a normal year, Basic Fun, they're based in Boca Raton. They can export everything its customers order from their factories in China. It's automatic. The company can set it and forget it. Not this year. Not a year in which 20-foot and 40-foot shipping containers became scarce and more expensive to deliver goods from factories overseas. The spot rate of booking a 40-foot container from Shanghai to L.A., wow, hit $10,229 a week of August. That is up 238% from the same time frame a year ago.
Yeah, so my wife, this is what she deals with on a daily basis in her job, is the shipping containers and movement of the containers and ordering supply. For her company. And quite honestly, the numbers that she throws out, she's like, look at what it was a year ago versus what it is now.
So it's Trump's fault, is what she's saying.
No, not at all. But
Yeah,
the bottom line,
don't say it.
Yeah, but the bottom line is you've got. Have you seen how many containers these ships can carry?
Yeah. And why do you
thousands
again
on
go
one ship?
Go on YouTube,
40 plus ships out there,
and watch those in rough seas.
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
That's why you lose all your shit, because when it falls off, that container's going to the bottom, buddy.
Yeah, because I didn't know this. The bottom of those containers, the sides, the top, the two ends are metal, but the bottom is plywood.
Plywood, yeah.
It's marine grade plywood. So, yeah, if they once they fall over, the water comes right in the bottom and glug, glug, glug. They're gone. But she said the prices are going up crazy.
Phenomenal, yeah.
So what the basically what's going to happen is that this company, I guess as an example, they can fit $150,000 worth of Mash'ems. You know what Mash'ems are?
I have no idea.
Apparently
Is it
they're-
the squishy toys?
Soft, squishy, water-filled collectibles with characters like Spider-Man, Disney princesses, and Harry Potter. And you can squish 150 grand worth of those into a container, and $100,000 worth of Cutitos, little furry stuffed animals wrapped in a burrito-like blanket. Really? That's what kids are playing with?
Yeah, I'm looking up Mash'ems right now.
And
Let me see.
Cutitos?
Cutito. Is it C-U-T-E?
Yeah, T-I-T-O-S.
T-I-T-O-S.
Cutitos. You know, that's going to be the big thing. And so I guess it makes sense
What
because
the hell?
you cram these into a storage container, and they're going to make it up on volume. On the flip side, Basic Fun can only pile $40,000 worth of Tonka trucks and $80,000 worth of Care Bears into containers. So Basic Fun has limited the number of Tonka trucks and Care Bears animals it shipped instead of raising prices to offset higher costs. So you're going to see, so that is when you go shopping, you're going to see a lot of stuff that can be mashed really small. That's how the world on fire for the past year and a half is going to affect your Christmas shopping.
Yes.
I hope the kids want stuffed animals because that's what there's going to be a lot of. Wow. See? Things that you didn't know when you got up this morning. You didn't know, and now you do. But Pete Buttigieg is out there. He is on the job. He's ready to hit it. And if he does half the job that the vice president has done with the border crisis, I mean, I think we're in good hands. Don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, why not? We're so screwed. By the way, fidget balls and tiny animals are going to get priority this Christmas, just so you know. So when you see fidget balls, you ever played with fidget balls?
I've not. I played with the fidget spinners, but I'll leave the balls to you.
Hold on a second. Let me get this one. Let me get this one for you right here. There you go. Yeah, you're welcome. And
You
I
got
would do
different reaches now for that.
I do.
stuff.
This is everything's backwards. I can't reach over the.
It doesn't look like it's backwards from what
Well,
you
it is
used to have.
backwards. Well, how many buttons do you have to push?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have
like
to push
one.
any buttons.
There's one.
Oh yeah, better.
And it's the same place at the end every time, and still. And I have all of. How did that work out? I get all the buttons to push. If you, who is our sponsor? This see everything is backwards, upside down. Who's our sponsor? Oh, MyPillow, MyPillow.com. Radio listener specials. You'll find the box there on the right hand side as you scroll down at MyPillow.com. And when you use, after you've clicked on the radio listener specials box, use the promo code Mojo50 and you will get incredible discounts on everything soft and squishy.
That's me. I'm soft and squishy.
Yes, me too. Sigh. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But you can get the pillows. You can get the Bible verse grab. What do they call grab and go, smash and go, smash and grab,
Smash and grab.
hit and run pillows. What are they called? Smash and grab. No,
Squatching duck. That is. That's them.
What?
Not sure about that.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I'll let you. Oh, you can't see the
No, I
the
can't.
tweets.
No.
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. Not unless I switch three things over and click on something different. I'm telling you, it's going to be when we get in. Things
I
are going to
might
be
want
better
one
in
of
the,
those, though.
Things are
That-
going to be
that's
better in the
kinda
new
cool.
building. All right,
I'll send you a pic. You go ahead. I'll
You
send
will?
you a pic.
Oh wait. Oh my.
You saw it. Okay.
I just did. I switched and clicked and wow. Think Pete Buttigieg want one of those?
I don't know.
You might. Speaking of a Gallup poll, this is a few years old, but just you'll see the point I'm trying to make. Americans say we're overregulated. A Gallup poll found the percentage of Americans who say there is too much regulation is nearly double that of those who say businesses are regulated just the right amount. the majority negative opinion on regulation in the U.S. coincides with an overall dim view of the federal government. This chart from George Washington University, the Regulatory Study Center, show that growing number of pages of regulations explains part of the attitude. Total pages in the Code of Federal Regulations between 1950 and 2013 goes from less than about 10,000 pages to, and this is 2013, almost 180,000 pages of federal regulations. And this poll was done in 2014, 7 years ago. So imagine how many pages of regulations we have now, which again, the federal government gets in there and you know what we need to solve this problem? Another law, another regulation.
Oh, let's throw another one on the books.
Because that's what they do best. They find a way to screw everything up. They shut us down for a year, and then they're out there just trying to toot their own horn about how, oh man, we've got this covered. We have got things are so fabulous right now. You won't believe how wonderful things are. We've got it all under control. Which, strangely, is the polar opposite of what they have. It's nothing under control. But you know what they're really good at doing? Taking things like the FRT trigger, things like taking the money out of your paycheck. They're still really, really good at that.
Yeah.
Weird, right? Is it really free when you think about it?
I'm trying to read what they're going to fix the curb out front today, and I needed to tell you so I wouldn't forget that I need you to check. What the hell?
She ran into something, didn't she?
I don't know.
She did.
I'm someone who wants everybody to say whatever they want, but I also think it's fair game for us to point out when people say dumb things.
That happens a lot here.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car,
Are we?
van, even a motorcycle,
Are we?
an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need
How come my lips aren't doing the thing?
I don't know. They do sometimes.
Oh,
there it is. When it's like your whole face.
How you doing? How you? There go the eyebrows.
Yeah.
If only you could see what Ron sees. Good grief. This space is so small, I have to step outside just to change my mind. That's small. It's really, really small.
American Pride Roasters, bringing peace and love to the world, one delicious cup of coffee at a time. Hey, it's Brad Staggs before his morning coffee. Oh my. This is Brad Staggs after his morning coffee.
With the sound of music.
PrideRoasters.com, historically great coffee.
If you look at the headlines over on Fox and CNN, you will see the story of one of the House of Representatives staffer facing child porn charges. This guy's named Stephen Barrett. He's 41 years old. He was arrested this past week and charged with 10 felonies related to possessing child pornography, according to the Fairfax County Police. Washington Post said that he was being held without bond. He's expected back in court next month. His attorney did not return calls. Investigation began when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was notified of potentially illicit image uploaded to a Dropbox account. It was reported to a task force on internet crimes against children. The owner of the account turned out to be this guy, but they never say what it is.
He was a staffer?
He was a staffer. He was the program manager for the Sergeant at Arms, the Chief Law Enforcement and Protocol Officer for the House of Representatives. He was responsible for maintaining order in the House side of the Capitol complex. He's listed as having worked for Congress since 2004.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing, and he may be absolutely guilty of this. I do.
So
not
who
know.
was it? Dropbox that nailed him?
Let's see here. Was it on your account? National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was notified of a potentially illicit image uploaded to a Dropbox account.
Oh, okay.
So who knows if it was them or somebody else. But the thing is here, and it's like, well, look, probably a Democrat. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Child porn. Boo. Lock him up. Kill him. The problem is that this is one of those stories that, and again, it goes back to the whole death penalty thing. I don't trust these asshats to get anything right.
Yeah.
And that could just as easily be, and I don't know if this guy is a Democrat, don't know if he's a Trump hater, don't know if he's a Biden lover, have no idea. But the issue at hand is when you see that Sergeant at Arms arrested on child pornography charges without really, going into detail as to what it is. And, with the old, what's the old adage, I can't describe, I can't tell you what pornography is, but I know it when I see it. So you start looking for the definition. I mean, I think we all know what, child porn, what that is. But when you start thinking about the fact that, it could be a 17-year-old, topless. That could be, technically that would be classified as child porn.
Yeah.
Where there's a big difference between a picture of a 17-year-old, obviously, and, a 6-year-old in sexual conditions. But these can be, these charges like this can be weaponized. And that's the problem. That you can take somebody down by putting this out there, and whether or not it's true, the headlines are already there. But when you look up the definition of child pornography under federal law, it's fascinating because there are things you probably didn't even think about. Child porn under federal law is defined as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a minor, somebody under the age of 18. Visual depictions include photographs, videos, digital or computer-generated images. Digital or computer-generated images. Indistinguishable from an actual minor. Could be a drawing. Images created, adapted, or modified, but appear to depict an identifiable actual minor. Undeveloped film. Undeveloped videotape. I don't know what that is. And electronically stored data that can be converted into a visual image of child pornography are also deemed illegal visual depictions under federal law. The United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held that images created by superimposing the face of a child on sexually explicit photographs of legal adults is not protected speech under the First Amendment.
Oh.
So they can get you for that.
Interesting.
Right. Isn't that,
I guess that makes sense if you...
Does it? That's a thought police. And I'm not condoning by any stretch of the imagination child porn or sex trafficking. But what concerns me is these broad definitions of anything, because, again, you have to wonder what do they apply this to next?
Yeah.
Okay,
so what happens? Oh, good God. I'm thinking outside the box as an IT guy. What happens if you land on a website that might have a picture on it? Well, all of a sudden the cache in your computer has that.
Yep.
What happens if somebody emails you a photo?
Yeah.
All of a sudden the cache in your computer has that.
Yep.
And if you don't know where to go to get rid of that, then it's on your computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I say when I saw this headline of the guy in the House of Representatives facing child porn charges, which again, if he's guilty of this, it's heinous.
But
he should
see,
be punished.
this was uploaded to Dropbox. That's a whole different ballgame.
Right. But part of it is you cannot cause to be exchanged, sold, bartered, whatever the images. So you're guilty if you're trying to get rid of it or sell it or whatever. or if you possess it. Let's see what looking at. I'm using my phone to check the Twitters here. Nothing there. It concerns me because and I think government's been this way along, and politicians and the powers that be and the deep state, call them whatever you want to call them, but they have been underhanded in any number of circumstances, and you start seeing things like this, and again, if he's guilty, he needs to be convicted and punished. But those kind of salacious headlines, lately I question them, because you never know what the motivation is anymore.
Right.
That's the biggest issue that I see with that. So, was watching I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of banned toys, and the federal government. Again, this all goes back to the government. I don't understand people wanting the government to take care of them cradle to grave. I just want them to stay the hell out of my way, which is what they never do. They take your money and they get in the way, and they usually screw things up. So it was the case of lawn darts. Do you remember? Did you ever play with lawn darts?
I remember lawn darts. Yeah, I did.
This is from 1970. This was on WFAA. That's a local station here in Tejas. Here's the 1970 report on lawn darts.
This isn't child's play, according to the Food and Drug Administration. The game is called lawn darts, and it is being exempted from a proposed ban by the FDA. The proposed regulations, perhaps to be finalized by the end of the week, would cause this game to be relabeled and sold only in sporting goods stores. The lawn darts manufacturer, RB Darts of South Glen Falls, New York, argued against complaints in insisting that the lawn darts are not intended for young children. 2 deaths and a couple of other injuries to children are listed as a result of the game. A 4-year-old North Dakota child was killed while playing in a sandbox next to the lawn dart game. A 9-year-old Minnesota girl was reportedly killed at a picnic. The FDA list also said 1 child lost an eye and another required brain surgery after being hit in the skull. The ban of this toy only to sporting goods stores would presumably help make the point that it is not safe for children. The FDA proposed ban is part of the regulations being developed under the authority of the Toy Protection Act of 1969. In the proposed ban, 3 other toys may be banned outright. They include some balloon noisemakers, a cap gun, and a musical toy rattle. One viewer told me this morning that the rattle in question is one made in Japan, and it's made of cardboard. The rattle, she says, has 8 or 10 metal prongs inside the rattle which make it chime, but which become easily exposed when the cardboard is crushed. By banning these toys, the FDA could also require manufacturers to repurchase the toys from the consumer and the retailer. But at this point, the FDA spokesman in Washington has not said whether the FDA will make use of this power or not. That's Contact 8. This is Teal Salon.
That was from WFAA TV in 1970. So lawn darts, when you think about it, because
I thought that I remember playing with lawn darts in the 70s.
Yeah,
I don't
me
recall
too.
it was that early that they started.
They
pitching
didn't.
a fit.
I don't think they outright banned them until, gosh, was it the
80s? Even
was it the 80s? Maybe. I think it was. But the problem is, why lawn darts? I mean, and you heard how many kids, obviously, if it's one death, it's one death too many.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your child. Again, the problem is, what's the difference between throwing a lawn dart and throwing a horseshoe? You ever get hit in the head with a horseshoe? You ever get hit anywhere with a horseshoe? They'll put your eye out. So why not horseshoes?
Yeah.
Well, because lawn darts had a sharp, not that sharp a point. But again, these are people. Do accidents happen? Yes. That's why they're called accidents. You have to be when that happens. And I know people, if a child is injured or anybody's injured for that matter, the first thing you want to do is find somebody to blame. But lawn darts, I've just never understood why they got banned. because it's not. Then shouldn't you ban bow and arrows? By that, shouldn't you?
It's a good point, but
Here's
the thing: is you can aim a bow for the arrow to go where you want it to go,
right?
For the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
But lawn darts,
you're
aiming, you're just throwing that bad boy in the air.
You're throwing it and you're trying to
It's
hit
like
a
a
target.
horseshoe. I get
Right.
that.
Same thing.
I don't know.
And a guy in this, this was in a chat ban or a chat ban, a chat room online. This is from 20 years ago, August 2001. And the comments on the banning of lawn darts is fascinating. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says they're banned from sale because people are asking, well, if we have them, can we still use them? Or, are it illegal to use them? And people were, confused. And it's like, no, they can't sell them anymore. And this guy says, I'm still waiting for them to ban baseballs. People have died. And it's true.
Okay.
You're throwing a baseball. How fast? Well, we make them wear helmets. But again, remember when you're talking about lawn darts, how many people died from lawn darts? Was it 2, 3?
Yeah, I don't know.
2, 3, 6. The injuries. How many? And it was 1998 that they banned lawn darts. And it was because of the deaths, because of the injuries, and there weren't that many. It was a series of injuries and a death toll of 3. The Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the sale of lawn darts in the U.S. They urged parents to discard and destroy the darts immediately. Of course, it created a big brouhaha with people who, use the product responsibly. It's like, make sure that there are no kids around. If you take a baseball bat and you swing it and you aren't checking for people around, you could end up hitting somebody in the head with a baseball bat.
Fact.
So, again, this goes back to government overreaching, government regulation, and the fact that they do nothing well. And with the triggers on the ARs, they're going to drive another company out of business because they're going to beat them. They're going to beat them over the head with that thing. There's no way on God's green earth that guy's going to win up against the ATF.
Yeah.
Not happening. Let's see here. The soft tip. Oh yeah, they came up with the soft tip sky darts. That didn't work out so much. The gunfighter. This was a toy cork gun that was sold back in 1976, 1977. It sold for $1.27. Wow. You go to Eagle Family discount stores throughout the Southeast to the toy cork gun was banned because serious injury could occur if a child abuses the toy by removing the muzzle end of the gun barrel, exposing the ends of 2 metal rods covered with plastic plunger caps. These caps can be removed by a force of 3 or 4 pounds, leaving the ends of the metal rods completely exposed. If the toy gun is cocked and discharged, the exposed ends of the metal rods could then be propelled forward into a child's face or eyes. Okay, this goes back to the never pointing a gun at somebody.
Correct.
So it's the use of the product. Remember, if you take a sharp stick and you poke it into somebody's eye, do you know you can put their eye out with it?
Yeah.
With a sharp stick. You do the same thing with a fork. Did you know you could do that with a fork? You could take a fork.
I may or may not have done that before.
Was that Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? Steve Martin, the eye patch. Dunk. They said modifying the double-barreled gun to make the junior version of a sawed-off shotgun would seem irresistible to young criminals, but the only casualty cited in the recall concerns one incident of eye injury occurring when a 3.5-year-old boy apparently shot the toy gun into his own eyes and was struck by the unprotected metal rod.
Okay.
Right. Again, this is your government, banning things so you can't buy them anymore because there's an idiot out there who leaves it where, a child can get a hold of it. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. This was sold between 1951 and 1952. This one I can kind of understand. It was called the most elaborate atomic energy educational set ever published by the Oak Ridge.
It was like a chemistry set?
Yes.
But you could make it like an atomic bomb or what?
No, it contained 4 types of uranium ore.
Plutonium? What?
It contained radioactive materials.
No, it did.
Yes, it did. It was.
What
Remember, it's
the
1950.
hell? I guess.
The
this will put hair on your chest.
And it was strangely enough, AC Gilbert Company also put out magic kits, so I was familiar with the company. Yeah. A form on the back of the instruction manual allowed a burgeoning chemist to send a note to New Haven, Connecticut, bearing the message, "Gentlemen, I need replacements for the following radioactive sources: alpha, beta, gamma, or cloud chamber source." Mechanical engineer and inveterate tinkerer Bill Gerstle fondly recalls the Atomic Energy Lab saying, "Everybody wanted the kit." He said, "Nowadays, science kits are just sugar and salt. This kit appeared 21 years too soon. The as yet non-existent Consumer Product Safety Commission never got a chance to ban it." But it had 4 different forms of radioactive material in it. They also banned the Sky Rangers Park Flyer radio control airplanes. This is another one I kind of get. It was this radio controlled an RC plane. It was a 2007 voluntary recall. The manufacturer was Estes Cox. Where's the bell? Received 45 reports of airplanes exploding, including 22 reports of consumers experiencing temporary ear pain or hearing being affected. 5 reports of minor burns to hands, faces, or eyes. 2 reports of chest impact from debris. 2 reports of eye injuries. 1 consumer sought medical attention for burning eyes. And apparently there was something wrong with it. It didn't keep the fuel contained. So if it's a product defect like that, where it's like, hey, we sent all these out and there's 2 holes in the fuel tank. So, when you go to fly it, there's going to be fuel leaking out of this thing and it's going to turn. Yes, I get that. That makes sense. But going back again to lawn darts, it's like, wait a second.
Dude, the scaredest I've ever been, I think one of the times I've been the worst scared is we were standing in the front yard. I was probably 8 or 10 years old. And the kid from across the street brought his bow and arrow over to the house. And he said, "Watch this," and shot that joker straight in the air.
Ooh.
Where do you go?
Ooh.
Where do you go?
Where did you go?
I don't know. I don't know if I stayed where I was or.
And don't lay down, because then you're a bigger target.
Moved onto the porch or so. I don't remember, dude, but I remember that arrow hitting the ground and it stuck right in the yard. It wasn't too far from me, but man, it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, where do I go?
Punch the kid? Did you punch the little bastard?
No.
This is the kicker. This is back in 1993, and I didn't even know this had happened. The Slip and Slide collection.
I loved Slip and Slide.
Yeah, well, apparently adults who are dumbasses and get on them can hurt themselves. Did you know that when you slide on something slippery and you run into an object, you can hurt yourself?
Yeah.
Who knew? I mean, and quite frankly, they should be putting a warning on forks, because those things hurt when you stick them in your eye. So if you... I didn't know these had been banned, but they're polyethylene strips. The Slip and Slide, and apparently there's a whole line of them. The Slip and Splash, Whitewater Rapids, and Wet Banana. Where is the bell? Sold more than 9 million units between 61 and 1992. It's intended for children, not adults, according to the recall. Because of their weight and height, adults and teenagers who dive onto the water slide may hit and abruptly stop in such a way that could cause permanent spinal cord injury, resulting in quadriplegia or paraplegia. The slider's forward momentum drives the body into the neck and compresses the spinal cord. Thank you, Captain Obvious. 7 adults and a 13-year-old suffered neck injuries or paralysis. 7 adults, 7 adults and a 13-year-old. So 8 humans
have been paralyzed by running into something after
suffered
sliding.
either neck injuries or paralysis as a result of using them. So, again,
That's like those water parks where you slide down the huge slide and take a big old ramp jump into the air and land in the water.
Yep.
That scares the hell out of me too.
Right. And they can be dangerous. And that's the point of all this is what, okay.
Then you got these.
You've got stupid. We're playing to the lowest common denominator here.
We are, but people are always taking chances like that.
Well, but that's called thinning of the herd. That's Darwin.
It is thinning of the herd.
That's Darwin in
it's
action.
It's your daredevil spirit.
Right. And if you want to be a dumbass, I support your right to be a dumbass.
I could never get into the whole Evel Knievel thing because I'm like, why would someone drive 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle, jump the Grand Canyon, knowing that they're likely to hit the ground and break every bone in their body?
You know how many babes he got on the other side of that jump?
That's a no fear kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I guess. Or you just need serious risks for your little adrenaline junkie.
Serious hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's these are the things that have gotten us to where we are now. When we allowed things or stood by and was like, oh, bummer. These are all of the indications, these were all of the signposts along the way of the government doing what they're doing now. Continuing to tell us what we can and can't do, how we're too stupid. If some dude down the street wants to get a slip and slide and be a dumbass and put it up next to his house and slide on it and go headfirst into the side of his house, all right. I mean, I'm going to probably say, dude, you sure you want to do that? Because that looks like it's probably going to hurt. No, I'm going to, okay, go for it. I mean, you have to be able as an adult to make decisions like this and think for yourself and decide whether or not you want to take the chance. It's not the damn slip and slide company's fault. They gave you a slippery piece of plastic and said, here, if you pour water on this, it gets really slippery. And, if you're out on the lawn, you can slide across it. I mean, did they really have to say, by the way, we don't recommend sliding into a tree? It's the common sense.
Okay, DM won the internet for me today. He said, if I can't play lawn darts on a soaped up slip and slide while eating the original Kinder eggs, well, that's not an America I want to live in.
Me either. They have sucked every bit of fun or adventure out of everything.
Can you imagine like a soaped up slip and slide?
And that's the other thing is that, and you can find this again on YouTube. There's all sorts of lists of banned toys and things, but they said some kids, would put dishwashing soap on it. I'd be like,
you slide a lot farther.
Yes, you
DM
do.
says than the slide is.
And there are
you end up with scuffs and scrapes.
And there are stupid fail videos of big stupid human being adults who try to get on these slip and slides. It's like, first of all, you're the size of a small car. Don't get on the slip and slide. And if you do, don't bitch at somebody else because you were a dumbass.
Yep.
But this is how we've gotten to where we are now. These were all of the warning signs along the way saying, uh-oh, bad idea. It's a bad place to be headed. And here we are. We have arrived at the destination that is, we're like at Camp Dumbass now. And this is...
I've been to that camp before.
I've been several times. But I wish that we had paid more attention during the entire run-up to this disaster that we're in. Because I think we could have saved, well, maybe a few necks and then some common sense at the same time. Son of a gun. Look at that. We're out of time.
Oh, my God. Why is that
How many
not
buttons
playing?
do you have? How many buttons? I'll
Why
go back.
is that not playing? Oh, hang on. Oh, I got it. Here we go.
One more.
What do you mean it's let's go?
Wow.
I had the wrong switch switched.
I'll bet you did. Did they move your switch too?
They did move my damn switch.
Son of a... We have reached the end of 2 hours in a broom closet known as the Daily Mojo for Monday, the 18th of October, year of our Lord 2021. And I didn't even get to tell you about my infected extraction.
What? No way.
Yeah, it's not much fun this weekend. We'll get into that tomorrow. Find out if any of these here lessons stuck. The Knights Who Say Knee Slip and slides, wet bananas, button frustration, big stupid adults in tiny rooms. Today's Mojo has it all. We aim to please. That's what we do here. Did you watch Another Life Season 2 yet?
No, I'm telling you, Squid Game is all I've watched.
Dr. Mojo Martian, how dare you think you're free to injure yourself and potentially be unable to work and pay taxes? Exactly. Darwin is underrated. I'm telling you, let the survival of the fittest take its course. We're saving too many stupid people, if you ask me.
Agreed.
B from the SAV. Jackal's dealing with no bell today. I know, and it's, believe me, it was killing me. Killing me. See, blah, blah, blah.
Love the blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Vaccine privilege is a BS social construct. Hashtag truth. It's the banning of the lawn darts, the banning of all that stuff that the government's got to take care of us that has led us to, if you're not vaccinated, you are a heathen. You are a dirty heathen. How dare you not care about you'd probably go out and buy your neighbor a slip and slide, wouldn't you?
I probably would.
Sure as hell would. I love the DMX tweet. You already read it. 6% say Broadway. Real Ron Phillips is big old scaredy cat. Yes. But we knew that already. And over in the, can I get to the Facebook chat room? I'm not even sure I can get to it. I was there earlier, but I can't get to it. So let's just assume that they were having a fabulous conversation over there in the Facebook chat room. You know, Ron, when we get into the new building, things are going to be a whole lot better.
That's what they keep telling us.
That's what they tell us. Coming up next across most of these Mojo 50 radio stations, of course, it is the encore presentation of Abnormal Realities. And in today's exciting episode,
it's a replay. Well, no, it's a replay of our Freaky Friday edition from Friday night.
That's what I just said. But what's happening?
Yeah, I don't, nothing. I mean, look, on Freaky Fridays, we don't even really remember what we do. So
I got to hang out there more. Let's see here. Your Daily Mojo, of course, is sort of possible thanks to Ron.
Thank you.
Doing whatever it is
Thank
he
you
does.
very much. Thank
with
you.
Yeah. Remember, the smallest minority on earth is, in fact, the individual. Those who deny individual rights cannot claim to be defenders of minorities. Six Semper Tyrannis. Resist, stupid. Please. Hey, good night, Doc Thompson.
Wherever you are.
Hey, maybe a bell count.
Clear.
That's what you say. Hold on. I got to reach over here, do this, reach back over here and do this.
Good morning, Mojo 50. I'm Leprechaun Ed here with the bell count for the Daily Mojo on Monday, October 18th, 2021. Today there were two missed innuendo bells due to mislaid equipment. No actual bells because of said mislaid equipment, and 3 rim shots. Peace out, boys. Stay healthy, and I'll talk to y'all the next time.
Wow, just the next time. You are not going to believe what the word of the day today is.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to believe it. What is it?
Mojo.
Oh, what?
Mojo.
You're
I
not
should
going to
probably
believe
know.
what the definition of the word of the day is.
I should probably know what the definition of that word is.
Here is the definition of the word
Mojo.
It's a noun. Exceptional ability, good luck, and success.
There you go. I don't believe a damn word of that.
See, ability, yeah, good luck, yeah, success. Yeah. But we still got up this morning and we're still here. And that's really what it's not how you play the game. It's not whether you win or lose. It's how you son of a.
That is a wrap.
Coming at you from the broom closet again tomorrow.